Hey, what's going on, guys? Nick from Practically Tactical. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. So up here with Steve Fisher of Sentinel Concepts at the Home Defense Shoot House class. Amazing class, amazing facility again.
Yeah.
This place is fantastic, as you can tell what's downrange here. But we actually had a listener email in from the last show you were on with Jeff, and was, we hear all these ready positions, but I don't really know which one is which. The names, they're kind of confusing, and what might be best for certain situations.
It's kind of one of those things, the names have different translations to different people, different groups, agencies, whatever the case may be. Pretty much it's predominantly this. The gun belongs either in the holster, between you and the bad guy, or somewhere in the vicinity that muzzle is safe and it's not covering anybody that doesn't need to be covered, or in a quote-unquote ready position to re-engage the threat if it gets back up, or if another threat appears, or if you're kind of in a hunt and search type pattern. So there's a couple variations from low ready to a high ready to a mid ready to a high compressed ready to a zillion names. Okay. So I'll go over just a few of the basic ones that I use that I have a tendency to see the most often, that are most applicable to what we do with the gun.
All right, great. Yeah, let's set this up here and have you walk us through some of them.
Okay, great.
All right.
First one we'll talk about, just the standard old low ready position. Okay. Gun is down, approximately 45-degree angle, and depending on proximity to the target, it may be actually pointed at the feet or somewhere in between you and the threat. All right, so relatively good position. Got a good index finger here. If I need to do so, if I need to engage a target, I'll simply come up, engage, come back down to that low ready position. Usually you find this a lot, people covering other individuals down on the ground that they've got proned out, law enforcement. Oftentimes on a square range where you need to view the line as far as a safety's sake, you'll see a lot of instructors have guys start from this position. Sometimes it's often called no ready because of the position of it. You can't actively and immediately engage a threat. So there's movement of the gun, approximately, I don't know how many degrees it is, but hey, it's movement of the gun. Okay, so next one would be kind of a high ready or a compressed ready. We bring it straight in the chest, elbows are down, gun is parallel to the target. This allows me some view, good control of the gun, allows me to present and extend. Get some rounds off, my search and assess, top pistol real quick. All right, so kind of a high compressed ready position. We see another one, it's been called a high compressed ready, or kind of a slight muzzle up. I've heard a bunch of names for it, I really don't care. So this is another one that we'll see. The elbows are kind of tight to the body. We're here, we're focusing on front sight, looking through the front sight directly to the threat. From here I present the gun out, bring the gun back in. Okay, real simple, real easy, nothing to it. Sool gets talked about a lot. It is not a ready position. It is an admin position, all right? It's been beat up and kind of chopped up over the years. Okay, so this is traditional Sool. Gun is pointed south. South in Portuguese is Sool. Developed by Max Joseph and Alan Brozin from Tees. Okay, it was basically to keep muzzles from flagging everybody when the guns were out and dudes were stationary, because they were working with not quite tip of the spear dudes or highly trained individuals. All right, for years then you see dudes start kicking the gun out here. They start using it for a search and assess position to keep the gun, I guess, relatively muzzle safe. All right. The problem is then you saw dudes starting to use it for movement. And what happens is, as you start to move, you meter your strides and your steps, and you start muzzle sweeping yourself. As well as getting in and out of vehicles, confined spaces. Dudes will start to pull the gun over the steering wheel as they're pulling themselves out the vehicle, sweeping brachial artery. As they start to move, they'll start covering femoral arteries and major bone structures that we don't want shot. All right, that's just called the price of doing business and being a better operator with your gun. All right, a better end user, understanding that, hey, this and these mechanical safeties that the gun is so engaged with, or has one, critical to use. All right, so from Sool, the presentation used to be here. You'd come out on the gun, go off, get a simple search and assess, top it off again, and we're good. All right. Another one that has a little bit of controversy is gun up, high gun, temple index, 10 gun. Been called a lot of things. All right, position is here. Muzzle is above the head. Magazine well is back behind your eye line and the lip. So this also allows me, if I have children underneath me, other people around me, that I don't necessarily need to be muzzle sweeping or being able to get a gun back into the holster or putting it out here because they may move around, other people around me. I need to put the gun someplace safe. Muzzle. It comes up here. It's not really truly a ready position for re-engagement sequences. It's basically to get the gun out of the way, to control others, and do movement with your hands if need so. Yes, I can re-engage. All right, work through the problem. So it's usually an engagement. Come up. You guys will break off here. I will search the occluded side first. Come back here. Come back to my problem. And then if I need to, either put the gun away if the area around me is safe and the surroundings are clear enough for me to put the gun back in the holster. Those are pretty much most of the positions that I use and I teach and that I work through. Yours might be different, but find which one works best for you. All right, so we'll talk about a couple of the ready positions with the carbine. A lot of them mimic the handgun. All right, traditionally with the carbine, we've got a low ready position here. We would come up and normally engage, doing it dry because I'm shooting steel in close proximity right now. So we'll just run through these dry for you. So from the low ready, here, gun comes up, mechanical safety comes off. As soon as my sights and my eyes are married to the threat, this time I can engage, choose not to engage. The minute I am off target, off threat, my sights are off the gun, mechanical safety is re-engaged. All right, low ready, pretty easy. So, talk about kind of an indoor ready position or just a general carry position that you guys see the gun with. What this does for a lot of people, it creates an arcing or sweeping motion as the gun is being presented to the threat. Not so much an issue on the square range, depending on how the line is set up. Outdoor environments, around other people, it can become a problem because we try to mitigate the amount of muzzling that we do in the real world. Okay, so I'll go from here, come up, present, safety off, I would engage. Safety comes back on the minute I'm done with my engagement. All right. Next one we'll talk about is kind of a high ready or a high carry, high port. There's a couple different methods to this. This is what I call kind of a high ready. I'm ready to present the gun. The gun is off axis slightly, it's up. Muzzle just above me, buttstock is trapped here to the arms. I can identify things, vast area, present the gun, mount the gun, come back off. Okay? Now, variation of this is where the gun comes up. This is for movement. We're just standing around. All right, I usually have the optic bumped to my shoulder, my kit as a reference point. This allows me movement, not engagement. Okay, so there's a difference between a high ready and a high carry. Making sense to us so far? Another one that we'll talk about a little bit is a contact ready or a mid ready. What we'll have a lot of times is the gun is set here. We're just looking over the top of the optic. We're not in the glass yet because we may be watching things using lights, lasers, 100 million reasons why, but we're not just at that point yet where we're ready to start dropping the hammer. All right, I could be ordering persons down, seeing what they're doing, tracking their movement, and then getting onto that person and engaging from there. So there's a low ready, there's kind of a carry ready, or an indoor ready. There's a contact ready or mid ready that some places will call it. We've got a high ready, and then we've got a high carry. Those are the various positions. Make sure when you're using them, anytime you come off the sights, get back on that safety. Make sure you're using it between the positions. That's part of critical thinking and skill sets.